And staying on with West Asia, last week's end of hard-won conditional ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is translating into continued state of misery and violence for Palestinians in Gaza. In the latest, Israeli Defense Forces said to have killed what they called a key Hamas terrorist in a precision strike at a hospital in Gaza's Khan Younis. 4 others were reported killed in the strike, which Gaza's health ministry said hit the surgery department of Nasser Hospital. Israeli military claimed extensive intelligence and use of precise munitions to supposedly minimize the harm at the hospital. Relatives of Palestinian patients admitted at the medical facility recounted the moments of horror, fog and darkness as Israeli missiles fell on the hospital building.
After a 5 to 6 hour operation, he couldn't wait to get to the room. So he rests and for doctors to tend to him. So his health situation returns to what it was. We were sitting in God's peace, and there was nothing we were surprised with a missile falling on us. There was fog, darkness, dust, stones and glass over our heads. It reached a point we could not see where the patient was.
Khan Younis Hospital, which Israel struck, remains overwhelmed with dead and wounded since the Israeli forces resumed the war in Gaza last week. Among those hospitalized was Ismail Barhoum, a Hamas political bureau member, who the Israeli missiles targeted in a precision strike. Barhoum was one of the last remaining Hamas figureheads who remained embedded in the ranks and files of the Palestinian group since before the 7th of October 2023. Now, according to a European Commission profile, Barhoum headed a Hamas-run charitable association which supervised hundreds of charities that fund the Iran-backed group. With Barhoum gone, Israel has supposedly aimed to further paralyze Hamas from funding its operations. While the end of ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continues to aggravate Gaza's humanitarian crisis, another ceasefire, the one between Israel and Lebanon-based Hezbollah, continues to remain shaky. Over the weekend, Israel said that rockets were fired from Lebanon into Israel for the second time since December last year. In response, Israel said it struck Lebanon's Tyre, where at least 1 person was reportedly killed. Now, the Israeli military said that it also struck Hezbollah command centers, infrastructure sites, and a weapons storage facility throughout Lebanon. Even as Israeli forces struck Lebanon, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's foreign policy advisor said that Israel will continue to enforce the ceasefire despite recent ratcheting up of tensions.
Israel is going to enforce the ceasefire in Lebanon, and we're going to make sure that our civilians can go back home safely. That's what we've said from the get-go, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
The situation in Gaza remains a nightmare that only gets worse, with hospitals and civilians paying the price of a resumed war. As Israel strikes continue, the region continues to drown in bloodshed. At the same time, the ceasefire with Lebanon is also teetering on the edge. As peace becomes a distant fantasy, can the world come together to stop the mounting human toll of the ongoing conflict?
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
The Prime Minister Modi.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.